Assembly.
President Tinubu receives new envoys from France, China and Denmark. Promises increased economic cooperations. National Assembly investigates alleged economic sabotage in Nigeria's petroleum industry. And EFCC recovers 260 billion naira stolen funds, secures 3,455 convictions. And here is the news. The National Economic Council has advised the withdrawal of the tax bills from the National Assembly for wider consultations and understanding. The Council also directed the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation to conduct integrity review of waterways and dams across the country to avert reoccurrence of flooding which affected 34 states this year. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila has more on this and other issues deliberated at the meeting.
It's the 145th National Economic Council meeting and the 7th in the year 2024, chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima. First, Council received presentation from the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, acknowledging the performance in major revenue sources, noting sufficient alignment to withdraw the bill from the National Assembly.
So Council therefore recommend the need to withdraw the bill currently before the National Assembly on tax reforms so that we can have wider consultations and also build consensus around these reforms for the benefit of the entire country, and also to give our people for them to know the vision and where we are moving the country in terms of tax reform.
There was also presentation from the Flood Response and Mitigation Committee with 34 states affected, 217 local government areas, and more than 1 million persons displaced. Council deliberated and directed the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation to conduct integrity review of waterways and dams.
Council noted that the Green Climate Fund should have an infrastructure resilience fund component as a major part of this fund. And then also it was observed that there are some critical parts of the country that are very massively ravaged by this flooding, particularly southeast, south-south, that are completely omitted in the ongoing programs of construction of dams.
Council also received progress report of improvement in difficulties on the reforms being experienced in the economic sector, with the introduction of many programs aimed at addressing these challenges.
To a cheaper form of fuel. In the last 11 days, or in the last 5 days I should say, 11,000 beneficiaries have received 3.5 billion naira. So that's an ongoing rollout of consumer credit to help people to make things more affordable to the worker. Of course, the student loan scheme has reached over 500,000 students and it has disbursed over 90 billion naira. And that is to the students for their fees, to the institutions for the students' fees directly, and then to the students for their upkeep. So, and it's interest-free loan. So that, of course, is providing access to higher education to so many who otherwise would not afford it.
program and presentation on internally displaced persons for the implementation of a World Bank support on investment for affected persons and host communities for a sustainable livelihoods reviewed.
So the objective of the program is to improve access to basic services and economic opportunities for the internally displaced persons and host communities in affected local governments in Nigeria.
The council also announced the state of the federation accounts.
$473,754.57. The natural resources account, 26,105,837,627 naira 67 kobo. Stabilization account, 36,299,452,763 naira 32 kobo.
Observations were also made on the positive contributions of tech fund to the growth and development of education in Nigeria. Furthermore, observations were also made on the rationale behind the establishment of NASENI, that is the mandate of NASENI, which is to encourage production of local goods and services, thereby reducing dependency on hydrocarbons in Nigeria.
Council commended the efforts of the federal government on the Students' Loan Scheme and Tertiary Education Trust Fund, calling for a review on the mandate of NASENI. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
In other news, President Bola Tinubu is suggesting that the long-standing cordial relations that Nigeria has maintained with the Republic of France, People's Republic of China and Kingdom of Denmark over many years should translate into mutual economic benefits for citizens, particularly in key areas of education, health and infrastructure. The president gave an assurance of more economic diplomacy at a ceremony to receive letters of credence from new envoys of the three countries. State House correspondent Musbah Nawahab reports.
Nigeria-China relations of more than 50 years recently got a new impetus. The recent summit of the Forum of China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC, offered another platform for President Bola Tinubu and his Chinese counterparts to strengthen the ties and grow the relations. From just comprehensive partnerships, both countries have now stepped up to strategic comprehensive partnership. President Tinubu demonstrated his commitment by appointing a Director General and Global Liaison to coordinate the partnership. Zhu Duhai is the new envoy from the People's Republic of China. His role would be significant at the new level. President Tinubu urged the new envoy to work hard with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to translate the agreements signed into reality. He particularly looks forward to the activation of all the agreements signed, especially on trade and economic progress for both countries. The president said Nigeria will continue to leverage and build on the Chinese experience, especially in trade and infrastructure developments. Dunhai pointed out that he has already started programs with some states on improving yields for rice and yam, a mobile medical outreach to the less privileged, and educational exchange programs that will enhance vocational and technical skills in the country.
Already we're doing a lot with them with the Belt and Road Initiative and the Forum for China-Africa Cooperation. You can see the infrastructure that is being built by Chinese companies, funding from China. So it's something that's very important, not just to Nigeria but to Africa, because of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
President Tinubu also received Marc Fombustier as the new French ambassador to Nigeria. He told the new envoy that his friendship with President Emmanuel Macron and the diplomatic ties between both countries should be felt by citizens urging support for the ongoing reforms in the country, which seeks to strengthen institutions and improve livelihood of citizens. President Tinubu welcomed the ambassador of Denmark as he acknowledged the country's commitment to the promotion of democratic values and human rights. He expressed Nigeria's willingness to benefit from the Denmark's achievements in energy, education, Medicare and other areas that directly impact the livelihood of the people.
And broadly speaking, Mr. President has asked them to delve more. He asked the ambassador to do more in terms of strengthening trade and investment and the relationship between Nigeria and Denmark.
The Danish ambassador revealed that his country has developed a strategy to improve relations with Africa, in which Nigeria will play a central role in the implementation, considering its size and influence on the continent. From the State House, Musbah and Wahab, Nta News.
From the State House, we take you to the National Assembly, where the presiding officers of the National Assembly are set to inaugurate a joint ad hoc committee to investigate alleged economic sabotage in the Nigerian petroleum industry. In a motion adopted at plenary, the Senate leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, explains that following the setting up of an ad hoc committee to investigate similar matter by the House of Representatives, a decision has now been reached for both chambers to jointly investigate the alleged sabotage. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
They have undermined the investor confidence, distorted market operations, and exacerbated our economic challenges.
Senate had in July this year commenced a solo investigation into alleged economic sabotage in the petroleum industry. Few weeks after, the Green Chamber launched an inquiry on similar matter. Today at Senate's plenary, the Senate leader said the two chambers are now to jointly conduct the investigation.
There is need for the ad hoc committees of the two chambers to work jointly to avoid duplication and clash in the discharge of their assignment.
Senate has passed the bill to establish Federal University of Agriculture and Development, Iragwiji, in Osun State.
To encourage the advancement of learning and to hold out to all persons without distinction of race, creed, sex, or political conviction.
Agriculture accounts for about 70% of our employment and 30% of our GDP.
I pray that through this university, Nigeria will be able to produce what it consumes and consume what it produces.
Two establishment bills pass second reading.
The need to upgrade that school to a University of Technology in Asaba is very, very important.
The bill seeks to provide for the establishment of the Chartered Institute of Petroleum and Gas Engineers of Nigeria.
Plenary featured the first reading of 6 bills, among them the Public Health Emergency Bill. Senate has adjourned plenary to Tuesday, 19th November 2024, to enable oversight by standing committees. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, Nta News.
This is the news at 10 on Nta News 24. Let's take a break. The news continues shortly. Thank you for staying with us on the news at 10 on Nta News 24. Still from the National Assembly, House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill seeking mandatory inclusion of portfolios in the nomination list of ministers and commissioners by the President or state governors. National Assembly correspondent Nta News24 reports that a bill proposing to extend the retirement age of health workers also scaled second reading at Thursday's plenary.
The bill proposing that the president and state governors should attach portfolios when nominating ministers and commissioners received the support of lawmakers and consequent referral to the Committee on Constitution Review.
Before a nomination is being sent to the National Assembly, it must be accompanied with portfolio.
A situation where ministers are presented to you, you don't even know the portfolio and the qualification of the person, you are bound to start asking general questions.
I can still come on.
It was some heated debate before the second reading of the bill seeking extension of the retirement age of health workers.
Extend their service years from 60 to 65 years and 35 to 40 years.
It is proper to retire when you can go home and farm and do some other things.
The people that are living for Japa or whatever you call it, they are young men. People that are beyond the ages of 50, 60, they are ready to stay and sacrifice for this country.
Getting to the age of 60 and you want another age of 5 to be added, even injection syringe the person is going to handle, you see the hand will start shaking.
The eyes have it. To secure our health space, we need to have the experienced doctors in our midst, helping us.
The House resolved to probe erratic e-customs services and attendant revenue losses, among other resolutions.
Mandate the Committee on Custom and Excise to investigate the concession of the Nigerian Customs Service modernization project and examine the frequent network disruption currently impacting the e-customs service delivery.
Urge the Federal Minister of Finance, Budget Office of the Federation to increase the capital budget allocation to the Nigeria Correctional Service to 30 billion in 2025 budget estimate.
For the past 6 days, an unprecedented 18-kilometer gridlock between Lambata and Suleja has crippled the flow of traffic on Suleja-Lambata Bida Highway in Niger State. Direct the Ministry of Works to conduct the an emergency assessment of the condition of the road.
4 bills were passed at Thursday's plenary, including the bill seeking establishment of the National Metallurgical Training Institute, ONISHA. The House has adjourned plenary to 12th of November 2024 to enable committees carry out oversight to ministries, departments and agencies of government. From the National Assembly, Nta News24, Nta News.
Away from the National Assembly, in a significant advancement for Nigeria's information and communication technology sector, Google has pledged to invest $2.8 billion in artificial intelligence and robotics. Chidiman Dubisi reports that the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy describes the initiative as a transformative step for the nation's economic growth and development.
Artificial intelligence and robotics, machines trained to think and act like humans with enhanced proficiency, are revolutionizing various sectors. In Nigeria, the use of AI tools and services is leading to improved health outcomes, educational advancement, early flood warnings, and enhanced safety measures. Local businesses are also recording increased sales. A recent study by Google indicates that every dollar invested in digital technology can generate an $8 return, highlighting the significant role of AI in driving business growth. To further these advancements, Google plans to invest 2.8 billion naira to enhance the skills of Nigerians in artificial intelligence and robotics, aiming to develop indigenous AI solutions. This will train 20,000 Nigerians through the ongoing 3 Million Technical Talents program, with an additional 25,000 teachers set to benefit from this funding.
We're also going to work directly with 125,000 young people, young learners as well, and train them in the AI fundamentals. providing 10 promising Nigerian AI startups with 100 million naira in funding, alongside 3.5 million in Google Cloud credits, as well as some mentorship from Google's own engineers and technical support to get them up and flying.
The expectation is that some of the startups that are being supported will be building tools that small businesses will benefit from. So the program in its entirety is for, I think I can say 75% of it. The other part is for public civil servants, but 75% of it is directly for young people. This sort of program will give us the opportunity to be able to continue to train, empower, but also place these young people in jobs.
The program will be delivered in 1 to 2 years and implemented by the Data Science and National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. In Abuja, Chimdemma Ndibisi, Nta News.
And let's look at health now. Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, and Assembly of Healthcare Professional Associations, APA, have decided not to go on with the 7 days warning strike embarked upon from the 26th October 2024. The unions in a joint statement state that the decision followed an expanded NEC meeting that reviewed report from the conciliation meeting held between the leadership of the unions and representatives of the federal government on Tuesday, 29th October 2024 at Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. The statement says the suspension of the strike effective from midnight 31st October 2024 is in the spirit of the Memorandum of Understanding signed at the interface with the federal government and in general public interest. Meanwhile, a timeline of 6 weeks is given to the federal government to meet all the obligations contained in the Memorandum of Understanding. On security, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetoku, has presented the action plan of strategic policies for policing concepts in the West African sub-region to boost effective policing at all levels. A statement by the force says IGP Egbetoku laid the template for the discussion on the strategies to execute coordinated investigations and operations across regions to tackle patterns of crimes and criminality, as well to equip officers with requisite knowledge in all areas of policing a complex society. The IGP urges leaders and representatives of the regions to ensure that policies decided on at the meeting are leveraged for the purpose of security. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC says over 260 billion naira stolen funds have been recovered this year, in addition to over $75 million assets recovery after securing 3,455 convictions across all categories of financial crimes. EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede, while briefing the media in Abuja on strides and the new anti-graft preventive framework, says time has come for drastic actions to be taken towards redeeming the country from the vice grip of corruption and their consequences. Tokbe Alabi reports.
This media briefing is on EFCC's key achievements in the last 1 year, spanning between October 2023 and October 2024, and the chairman, Ola Olukoyede, represented by the Director of Public Affairs, says the commission is currently prosecuting 4 former governors and 3 former ministers for various corruption charges. Other notable strides of the anti-graft agency is monetary asset recoveries in naira to the tune of more than 280 billion naira, and recovery of assets in foreign currencies worth $105.4 million, among others.
Also invited the Executive Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mba. He was here to receive 14 properties that were finally forfeited by courts.
From the Special Task Force against Naira abuse and dollarization of the economy, prioritization of fraud prevention to a new department of fraud risk assessment and control, journalists want the Commission to continue to work in line with its enforcement and prevention mandates. For Nigeria's foremost anti-graft agency, it is to leverage its robust collaborations to eradicate economic and financial crimes through prevention, enforcement and coordination. From the FEC headquarters in Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, Nta News.
Thank you very much, Tokwe. Another break beckons at this point on the news at 10 on Nta News 24. More reports when we return. Thank you for being there. Now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has appealed to Nigerians to remain faithful with the policies and programs of the Tinubu administration's reforms that are designed and being implemented to lead Nigeria to the desired destination of unlimited prosperity. The minister assured Nigerians that the federal government communication team will continue to engage the people through town hall meetings across the country. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
In view of the recent reforms, particularly the cabinet reshuffle, the federal government communication team, led by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, at the end of a strategic engagement on critical national issues, roll out its plan to sustain the tempo in propagating activities of the government.
We are streamlining our strategy to inform Nigerians more about what we do. Of course, this is not the first time that this is happening. You know that we hold the periodic ministerial press briefings that we intend to continue with. We also want to continue with the town hall meetings that we have started. Very soon the National Communications team will go to the southeastern part of the country to engage with Nigerians in town hall meetings so that we take to them, to their doorstep, the message of Mr. President and his government, and we'll also hear from them firsthand what their reaction and their observations are about policies and programs of government so that we bring it back to government. Some of these reform processes ought to have started maybe 2-3 decades ago, but the President has taken them, and like I said, we will deliver. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is determined to deliver on all these promises.
On the recent power outage that affected parts of the country, the minister appealed to Nigerians to be more vigilant and provide useful information to security agencies in the fight against criminality.
By Sunday of this week, we will have power fully restored to all parts affected. And like the President has also told the security agencies to be extra vigilant, and they are going to work around the clock. It is not an acceptable situation. The President will not accept any criminal disrupting power transmission lines in this country.
The meeting had in attendance heads of agencies under the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, Nta News.
Exhibition of bad attitudes and inappropriate conduct in the face of provocations or challenging moments by leaders necessitates a national policy on emotional intelligence training for all Nigerian leaders. This suggestion was made by leadership consultant and trainer Colonel Joseph Ajanaku, retired, during a 2-day training on improving performance at workplace through ethical leadership and emotional intelligence for top management staff of NTA. Joseph Osen reports.
To be a positive person.
It is an already planned training by management of the Nigerian Television Authority, but the recent assault on an online taxi driver by a member of the House of Representatives validate its importance even more. Participants here comprises assistant directors to the level of executive directors.
They are trained in the art and science of leadership wherever they are working, so that we can encourage efficiency.
We started doing
Leadership consultant Colonel Joseph Ajanaku, retired, attributes colonial mentality of bosses being superior beings and followers inferior to the arrogant and other poor attitudes exhibited by many leaders.
Why don't we begin by mainstreaming emotional intelligence training in every leadership position? We can even get to the level of getting emotional intelligence tests to have a good picture of the kind of leaders we are.
No matter the position, either in the house, at work, anywhere, we all just need it. We all saw what happened to our dear honorable of recent. So if you have it, then you can think straight.
If you're a leader and you are not connected to the people you're leading, you are not a true leader. So you should have that empathy.
A kind of watchword is to carry everybody along.
Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, is appreciative, describing the exercise as much needed.
I want to say a very big thank you and congratulate you and appreciate for all the congratulations.
The understanding here is that application of emotional intelligence breeds healthier working environments. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, Nta News.
The transfer of healthcare technology among nations is giving opportunities to those in need of advanced breakthrough in assisted reproductive technology to ensure fertility services are accessible to all. This is the opportunity Nigeria is providing to Uganda in advancing reproductive health care across the continent. Ibrahim Belogunda reports.
The visit to Nigeria by Ugandan Parliament delegation led by Dr. Yonga Joseph is in search of partnership on breakthrough of Nigerian healthcare and assisted reproductive technology. The Ugandan delegation were hosted by Nisa Hospital Abuja, known for its advancement and success in in vitro fertilization, transfer and fertility preservation.
We came here because we had heard about Nisa Medical Group, which has done a lot of training, and they're doing a lot of ALT for benchmarking to see how do we use the experience from NISA to make our law.
They're going to see the practical steps we take, not theory. They're going to see what does an egg look like, what are our sperms, how do they get them together, how embryos form, how does pregnancy come, what happens, what are the challenges of access to IVF in Nigeria, a similar level of economy internationally like Uganda.
The desire of other African countries to learn from Nigeria and then spread this science of assisting in reproductive technology.
Received by the Minister of State for Humanitarian Services, represented Chairman House Committee on Health Institutions, Amos Magaji, and representative of Mandate Secretary, Health and Environment of the FCT, Dr. Dolapo Fasawi. They highlighted the success story of Nigeria in providing accessible opportunities for couples to start a family, which attracted Uganda to Nigeria in search of expertise in shaping its reproductive health policies, while emphasizing the importance of awareness on assisted reproductive technology, reduce stigma, and ensure accessibility. During the visit, the delegation from Ugandan Parliament will visit the National Assembly as well as consult more experts on assisted reproductive technology in Nigeria. In Abuja, Ibrahim Belogunda, Nta.
800 informal traders, of whom more than 70% are women, have been trained in small-scale cross-border trade. The ECOWAS Commission has now launched the Traders Empowerment Program to upscale their capacity to fully reap the benefits of the initiative designed to enhance economic growth in the sub-region. Kelvin Ehunwaye reports.
In West Africa, MSMEs make up a significant portion of the economy, with women leading many of these small businesses. But the challenge of lack of finance to expand their trade is hindering them from reaping the full benefit of cross-border trade. This program, designed by the Commission in partnership with the financial institution, is believed to have the potential to enhance financial literacy needs and boost economic inclusion for women in the sub-region.
The ECOWAS Commission is committed to addressing these challenges and championing women's economy inclusivity through strategic intervention within the framework of the ECOWAS Vision 2050.
Training them, empowering them, you are empowering the whole nation. So this aligns with even what the government is doing in terms of the Renewed Hope agenda of Mr. President.
With the launch of the initiative, beneficiaries are open to mentorship and networking opportunities with the objective of building a network of women entrepreneurs with capacity to trade across member countries. In Abuja, Kelvin Ehunwaye, Nta News.
In other news, Nta Nigeria has pledged continued support to the Renewed Hope agenda of the current administration by improving staff performance and efficient service delivery. The acting chief executive officer of Nta, Baba Saidu, expresses the commitment at a training session organized for senior staff of the agency. Kenneth Nanim has more.
Nta has identified its objectives to be in line with the 8 priority areas of the current administration geared towards delivering good governance to Nigerians. Nta is therefore training its staff to be well acquainted with the public service rules as well as retirement perspective and planning.
Without knowledge, whether you have money, you have fund, you have good environment, you have tools, without experience and knowledge, there is no way you can utilize it well. That is why we gather them together and call them for this training.
The resource person, Adekunle Oni, appeals to government and other employers of labor to pay adequate attention to workers' welfare to minimize corrupt practices in public service and promote life after retirement.
The allowances should be improved, especially the salary, to make civil servants to pay more attention to their duties.
For the workers, the training is an exposé to what is required of them for excellent service delivery.
It has taught me a lot of things as regards to civil service rules, what I have to do and what I am not supposed to do.
It will guide us and retool us to be able to do more and give our best into the service of the agency.
Nta says it will continue to collaborate with key stakeholders to ensure that more Nigerians benefit from the Nta initiatives. Kenneth Nanim, Nta News.
The FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, has empowered youth in the FCT with 80 vehicles of different brands with a view to strengthening his support for the FCT Renewed Hope Empowerment Program in Abuja. Onozia Kubu reports.
The beneficiaries are drawn from the 6 area councils of the FCT. At a symbolic presentation, speakers advised the beneficiaries to maximize the opportunity provided at no cost by the FCT administration.
I have been privileged to be part of the flag of that has been happening. I want to tell you that if everybody is jubilated for the fact that infrastructure is happening in the FCT, the youth are at most to be enjoyed. This is because the flag of the infrastructure, the youth are going to be employed. The youth are going to be part and parcel of the process. By so doing, we have created job opportunities for them. By so doing, we have given them an ample opportunity to do away with deviances in the community.
As National Assembly and Committee on House of Representatives, I've always tell you we are within 100%. Anything you want us to do, we are going to do it for you.
The roads can be beautiful, the bridges can be in place, but people need to drive on them, and that is what you have done today.
FCT Minister Nyesom Wike
discloses that from January next year, all taxi drivers will be profiled by the security agencies, just as vehicles will be in FCT colors to enhance security.
Most of the Kekena, most of the motorcycles are informants. Everybody here, by the beneficiary, is being profiled by security. And so what are coming up from January next year, there will be nobody that will operate as a taxi driver or a bus driver without having the approval from security, without security profiling you, and without going on with Abuja color. So nothing like using any vehicle on the road. No, we won't allow that.
Vehicles provided will be used as a pilot in Guzapi, Maitama, and Asokoro districts, Abuja. Onoze Yakubu, Nta News.
Federal government has delivered a consignment of liquid gel fertilizer to the Anambra State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, for onward distribution to farmers who were affected during the 2018 flood in Anambra State. Ndem Kalu completes the report.
Handing over the fertilizer at the Anambra State Emergency Management Agency office in Oka, Director General of NEMA, represented by NEMA Coordinator, Enugu Zonal Office, Ngozi Echazu, noted that the fertilizer was approved under the National Food Security Council to farmers affected by 2018 flooding in Anambra. She applauded Governor Chukwuma Soludo for his efforts towards agricultural empowerment and food security in the state, while urging him to ensure timely distribution of the liquid gel fertilizer to intended beneficiaries for their use this year.
The liquid gel fertilizer is being supplied as replacement for balance of NPK fertilizer approved for Anambra State under the NFSC and EAI for states affected by 2018 flood. 1 liter of liquid gel fertilizer is equivalent to 50 kg of NPK 2010 fertilizer.
Receiving the fertilizers among other items, the Executive Secretary, Anambra State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, Paul Udenibo, commended the federal government for the kind gesture, promising to ensure effective distribution of the items.
On behalf of Anambra State government, thank the federal government to the Director General NEMA, who has sent his zonal coordinator to Enugu to deliver this product to us. We have today received on behalf of our state, and we shall ensure that they are distributed to the farmers as directed.
The distribution of the items is expected to go a long way in boosting food production in the state. In Oka, Ndem Kalo, Nta News.
The head of the civil appeared before the House Committee on Public Service for interactive session.
For that, we are working with relevant agencies to see how we can acquire some of the CNG buses that would be to develop a scheme, a transportation scheme for federal civil servants.
Chairman of the committee, Sani Bala, urged the head of service to pay attention to the welfare needs of workers, especially in the areas of housing and insurance.
Servants, I know of civil servant that has benefited, but yet, you know, you have some source of funding which might not necessarily come into our budget. We have the service-wide board that supplies the bulk amount of money that they require to, and you have the revolving fund also. We want to know how much is being revolved, plus the money from the service-wide board, and what do you still need to augment the whole process.
Some months ago, during the time of my predecessor, that we did the groundbreaking for some houses for civil servants in the premises of the Public Service Institute of Nigeria. I am pleased to announce that we are about to begin the construction of those houses with the developers, and we are looking forward to those houses being completed in record time. Those houses, therefore, would add to the pool of houses that we have for civil servants.
Now, as the Nigeria Union of Journalists Triennial Delegates Conference approaches in November, candidates have continued to tour state councils seeking support from members to lead the Journalists Union. Latest on this trend is one of the presidential aspirants of the union, NTS Dele Atumbi, who was in Minna, the Niger state capital, to canvass for votes, promises to prioritize members' welfare and review laws of journalism practice in Nigeria. Husseina Musa reports.
Nta Dele Atumbi, one of the candidates seeking for the position of president of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, was in Minna to interface with the delegates and members of the union ahead of November election. Atumbi's train-tagged rejuvenation team has a vision which focuses on strengthening professional development, enhancing media practitioners' welfare, fostering unity and cooperation among members, as well as promoting journalism's role in national development.
We will do everything possible to ensure that our members are protected, we improve on their welfare, we ensure training and retraining. We embark on infrastructural development at the National Secretariat of the Union, and to equally ensure that IIJ, in terms of infrastructural development, is not lacking.
Dele Atumbi boasts an impressive track record, having served as chairman Ondo State Council, zonal vice president, and was the national treasurer of NUJ, from where he stepped down to vie for the #1 position of the union. His extensive experience demonstrates his dedication and leadership prowess. During his tenure as Ondo State Council chairman, Atumbi facilitated the construction of a secretariat and re-engagement of some dismissed members, a feat described as milestone in the overall development of the union.
We came with a message of rejuvenation, with a message of capacity, with a message of innovation. These pillars will drive a new NUJ that will take the entire Nigeria to the next level.
The engagement was an interactive one, as members took turn to share credit and raise observation on his agenda. In Minna, Husseina Musa, Nta News.
You're watching the news at 10 on Nta News 24. Here is a quick look at our major stories. National Economic Council advises withdrawal of tax reform bills from National Assembly for wider consultations.
So Council therefore recommend the need to withdraw the bill currently before the National Assembly.
President Tinubu receives new envoys from France, China and Denmark, promises increased economic cooperations. National Assembly investigates alleged economic sabotage in Nigeria's petroleum industry. EFCC recovers 260 billion naira stolen funds, secures 3,455 convictions.
This is Nta News 24.
Behind the unyielding walls of Nigeria's custodial centers, where many see only finality, a different story unfolds, one where chains are recast into threats and abandoned dreams take flight. Victor Azu in these second chances.
Behind these cold steel walls, time stands still. But inside, some find new horizons, building, dreaming, and reshaping their destinies.
Chinwendu Hart, at 34, has spent 12 years at the Kuje Custodial Center on trial for homicide. My gravest mistake, he concedes. In this silenced world, he earned a bachelor's, a master's, and wrote 5 books. Each page, each chapter, a whispered plea for redemption.
National University was introduced to the center, and it was scholarship. So I took that opportunity and I enrolled. I've done my first degree. I have BA in Christian theology, and I've also concluded my master's degree. Right now, I can build a website from the scratch. I learned website development.
Now, calls for his pardon grew into a chorus. Like Chinwendu, Christian Picado's hope faded when gates closed. Yet, in thread and needle, he stitched a future anew. Tailoring taught him not just to mend fabric, but to weave brighter tomorrows.
I studied entrepreneurship and business management. So from there, I was unable to finish it. My case finished before my graduation. So coming out too, I was given opportunities.
His skills earned him freedom and degrees. Now, his tailor shop in Lube sows resilience into the fabric of his family life. A vibrant thread in a tangled world. Ehimel Sahon found light in learning. 5 daunting years for distributing cannabis could eclipse any hope, but he refused to succumb. Through the inmates' education program, he earned a master's and embarked on a PhD journey, tuition-free, even after his release.
Immediately I left the 4 walls of the correction, an NGO picked me up, gave me accommodation and gave me a job. But barely a year and 6 months, we could not continue, so I was asked to go. Though the NGO accommodated me till early this year.
But without a job, his dreams are at risk of unraveling. His wife, once his anchor, has left with the kids, broken by his continued struggles. He now grapples with a new kind of loneliness. In a country where more than 70% of inmates are confined for non-violent offenses, the real measure of our humanity is in how we welcome them back.
They have paid their dues. Now they need an opportunity to show us who they have become.
Christian and Ehime tasted freedom within these confines long before they physically left. Now, it's upon us to look beyond their past and see the future they have fought for. In Abuja, Victor Azu, Nta News.
Interesting story there, but thank you so much, Victor Azu. And that concludes the news at 10 on Nta News 24. Thank you for watching. I am Norlene Ebel Ame. Good morning.